Okay, boxing fans, right now I'm going to talk about Miguel Cotto knocking out Geale in the fourth round in relative ease, won every single round. The knockout came in the fourth, early in the fourth round, when Cotto scored a great headbutt left hook combination to drop Geale. That was early in the round. Cotto then went on the attack when Geale got back up, looking to close the show. He whipped in punishing hooks to the body and was switching upstairs. Cotto looked really good, to be honest. You can't really say he didn't. Anyone who says differently is lying. The point is, we'll come onto the rest and how we rate him later. Geale went down again from a body shot, raised to his feet and said he wanted to know more. How do we rate Geale though? I know that's another thing that we'll have to come on to in a bit later. So we'll come on to them now. I don't actually know how to grade each fighter's performance because of the circumstances going into the fight. Some people have said, well, every circumstance that was there, Geale agreed to, so we should just grade it on what it is. And that's a very one-dimensional and black and white way of looking at things. And we'll come on to that in a minute. Obviously, this was a catchweight fight at 157 pounds that Geale struggled to make. And it was totally unnecessary considering, I don't know about you guys, but I thought Cotto would win every single round against Geale anyway, without the catchweight. Maybe I just have too much faith in Miguel Cotto than you do. Maybe not. And I've not heard one person in a video on YouTube talk about how shite Geale looked and how shot to shit he was. How much the catchweight clearly affected him. No one's willing to stand up and say it. I don't know why. He looked really thin at the weight when he was at the weigh-in, and then look at his fight, that fight compared to every other fight he's been in. He looked awful. Hand speed was awful. Accuracy was awful. Timing was terrible. His timing was awful. His work rate wasn't that good. He was just a shell of a fighter. It was sad to watch. It was actually sad to watch if you're just looking at Geale. I mean, Cotto looked great, but he's supposed to, isn't he? He's supposed to. I mean, unnecessary catchweight. I think you'd beat him anyway. What they basically did was they took a heavy underdog and they crippled him via draining the life out of him. Let's look at some other aspects of Geale as well. He's also coming off a massive KO loss to Gennady Golovkin. How much did that take out of him? So overall, how do we rate Cotto's win? Come on, let's be honest. Let's minus a few points for the catchweight, okay? So 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. We can't give him 10 out of 10. In theory, his performance was 10 out of 10 if everything was sweet, but it's not. The catchweight took a lot out of Geale. I'm taking a few points off him for that. 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, max. I mean, there's people right now who are probably listening to this and saying, oh well, Daniel Geale, he agreed to all of Cotto's demands. He should get the 10 out of 10. You're a fucking disgrace. Like that. And I'm just thinking, you've got no idea. You have no idea about life. Some people don't have the same luxuries as other people have. Geale, for example, doesn't have the same luxuries Cotto's had in his career. Look at Cotto's whole career. Cotto has been given big fights when he's needed them. Opponents have stepped up and took the fights when Cotto's asked for them. He's got big fights. He's got the fights that have brought him to this point in his career where he can demand whatever he seems to want to demand, and the opposition seem to have to accept it. At the end of the day, you can't deny this. Cotto turned down fights with both Canelo and Triple G on HBO. And this is a guy who still manages to get a fight showcased on HBO where he's the overwhelming favourite. Cotto openly says nobody shall dictate to him what he does in his career. He does the dictating. No belt will tell him what to do. No person will say you have to fight him. He's basically saying even the fans can't say to him you have to fight him. The fans pay him his money, by the way. Just put that into perspective. Without the fans, he don't get paid. So obviously, because people love Cotto a little bit too much, considering what he's given back, they don't really look at that. They should. They have every right to say fuck you, Cotto. But anyway, he got the Geale fight on HBO. When it's not a HBO fight, is it? Let's be honest, it wasn't a HBO fight. And let's look at Geale. Why did Geale take the fight? Let's be real. Let's be honest. Cards on the table. Why did Geale take the Cotto fight? 1, compared to Cotto, he needs the money. 2, He doesn't have HBO phoning him up, offering him multiple fight paydays on HBO. He's in a catch-22 situation. If he turns down the Cotto fight, he'll probably never be on televised HBO again. He'll probably find it hard to fight for a world title again. And probably, in the best case scenario, the only prospect he's got to look forward to is the idea of fighting a low-level opponent for shitty money if he turns down Cotto and his diva-like demands. Just don't forget, Geale is not a big name. He is not Cotto. He does not have the same luxuries as Cotto. So if he takes the fight, he has to drain himself all the way down an extra £3. When he said himself, it's already hard just to make 160 at this point in his career. He's going to be at even more of a disadvantage. But, I can see why he took the fight. He has to take the gamble. He has to. If he takes the fight, he's got a shot, even though it's a minuscule one. If he turns it down, he forfeits the chance, the money, and the possibility of future opportunities on HBO. That's how shit this game can be sometimes. If you turn him down, you're out the game completely. But then there's the other aspect of it, which I'm having trouble with, and this is the other issue for me. Geale quit again. And it's a bit painful, this one. Because last time out, he was fighting Triple G. He got dropped hard, got up and said he didn't want to continue. Now, okay, maybe you can give him a pass for that one because he's fighting Triple G. A lot of people will quit. Even William Monroe tried to quit via the infamous Malik Scott 9 count and then blame it on the referee scenario, which backfired when the referee said, "No, I'm going to give you the option. Do you want to continue?" And he went, "Nah, nah, I don't." Right. So he's quit now 2 times in a row. When the going gets tough and you quit 2 times in a row, what are you fighting for? Obviously, it's just the money. Like a lot of prize fighters, actually. But you don't have the will to win. Maybe he's had it beaten out of him. I don't know. But where does he go from here? Where does Geale go from here if he's quitting when the going gets tough? I'm not sure. I think the best that he can look forward to is like a Eubank Jr. fight. Maybe a Billy Joe Saunders fight if that's on the table. Other than that, maybe a Quillen fight. But I see Geale getting dropped in that fight too and quitting in similar circumstances. So it looks like it's the end of the road for Geale, really, especially at the top level. Cotto pretty much has confirmed that he's going to go and fight Canelo next, which probably means that he'll have to vacate the WBC title. Triple G will fight the winner of Torino Johnson versus Jorge Highland for the vacant title, which is not the best fight, but what can you do? This is the point. What can you do? Cotto he ain't down to fight. He ain't down to fight him, and he can't do a catchweight in that fight either, because you can't do catchweights in mandatory fights. I don't know, you guys. You tell me what you guys think about this fight and where both guys are going in the future.